I never got paid what I was worth, and I never got the respect I was worth. So the disdain that I got for Puff is more like, you trying to keep me here, nigga. I'm not here. All my peers is up here.
I never took nothing from nobody a day in my life.
He just kept trying to keep me right here, like he didn't want me to grow at anything.
All I've ever given is opportunity, more money than a person was making.
And even more money, more problems. I came up with that.
Did you make the right decision leaving rap?
I did. Everything now that we see playing out was all the things I escaped. The car, the shine, the loan, Puff Daddy, the Craig Mack,
Biggie Smalls.
the Biggie Smalls. So even though I made those decisions and it cost me money, that's why I got with Killer and they gave me the money back.
For years, he was always there, holding the umbrella, walking just a step behind Diddy, silent but seen. Then, without warning, he vanished. No goodbye, no press, no trace. People called him the Umbrella Man, but his real name and his sudden disappearance were never explained until now, because Mase just broke the silence. And what he revealed about Diddy's mysterious right-hand man might be more disturbing than anyone expected. If you followed Diddy over the years, you probably noticed him, a quiet figure always at his side. He held the umbrella, opened doors, and walked through red carpets like a ghost in the background. He wasn't just an assistant, he was part of the image, part of the brand, but somewhere along the line, he disappeared. Not retired, not replaced, gone. For years, people joked about the Umbrella Man, but behind the memes was a much darker story. Now Mase, the former Bad Boy star turned outspoken truth teller, has come forward with shocking details about who the Umbrella Man really was and why he might have vanished without a trace. What he's saying connects to Diddy's lifestyle, the culture of silence within Bad Boy, and the growing list of disturbing stories that are finally coming to light.
Pull up, because what we're about to unpack is messy, like real messy. Something strange, no, straight up suspicious, is happening with Diddy's once ultra-visible sidekick, the so-called Umbrella Man, Farnsworth Bentley. Where is he? Why has he gone completely silent? Let's be honest. Ever since Diddy's scandal exploded like a firework finale on the 4th of July, Farnsworth has basically evaporated.
To understand the full significance of Farnsworth Bentley's silence and why his presence beside Diddy for nearly a decade is being re-examined in light of recent events, we have to go back to the beginning. His real name is Derek Watkins. Born in Atlanta, Georgia. Raised in a deeply religious Southern family, Watkins studied classical violin, majored in biology at Morehouse College, and came from a world far removed from the chaos of New York's hip-hop industry. After graduation, he moved to New York, working in high-end retail and the fashion world before eventually finding his way into the music industry.
And honestly, that might explain why he vanished from the spotlight without a word when Diddy's empire started collapsing. Here's a little backstory for those who forgot. Farnsworth Bentley, real name Derek Watkins, didn't just stumble into Diddy's life. In 2001, Diddy had just survived a massive scandal involving gun charges, bribery, and a nightclub incident.
What set him apart was his presence, tailored suits, formal manners, a soft-spoken voice, and a strong sense of personal style. He was the antithesis of what people expected from a hip-hop entourage member, and that perhaps is why Diddy noticed him.
Diddy's Umbrella Man. Yep, we're talking about Farnsworth Bentley, aka the sharply dressed man who once followed Diddy around with a white umbrella like it was the crown jewels. But baby, let me tell you, Bentley wasn't just shading Diddy from the sun. The rumors, they've been loud for years. And now, with Cassie's explosive court filings, secret witness testimony, and former bodyguards speaking out, Farnsworth's name is sliding right back into the center of the scandal. And guess who just dropped a massive bomb about it? Mase and Cameron. Yeah, them.
In the early 2000s, Bentley became part of Sean Combs' inner circle, not as a rapper or manager, but as a personal assistant, though that title doesn't quite capture the complexity of his role. It was Bentley who was seen holding an umbrella over Diddy's head, even when it wasn't raining. It was Bentley who opened car doors, carried briefcases, stood silently behind Diddy at award shows, and ensured everything around the mogul was precise, polished, and presentable. But Bentley wasn't just carrying umbrellas. He was curating image, enforcing discipline, and managing appearances. Behind the scenes, he helped Diddy project a refined, elevated version of himself, one that appealed to fashion circles, business executives, and elite tastemakers. In interviews, Bentley referred to himself not as a servant, but as a man who protected the brand. He was part assistant, part image consultant, part handler. His job was to keep things under control to maintain order, both visually and behaviorally.
In 2001, Diddy, who was then known as Puff Daddy, was acquitted of gun possession and bribery charges in a highly publicized trial related to a 1999 nightclub shooting. Diddy was desperate for a clean slate, so he decided to rebrand himself as P. Diddy. And later that same year, Diddy stepped out in Saint-Tropez with this sharply dressed man holding a fancy white umbrella that apparently cost $700. This picture stirred up a lot of public curiosity because no one knew who the Umbrella Man was or where he came from. And while some people found it amusing, others couldn't help but feel uncomfortable, and they accused Diddy of humiliating this man in public.
In Diddy's world, that meant being present for everything. Bentley traveled internationally with him. He was in the room for late-night meetings, high-profile parties, video shoots, and spontaneous social outings with celebrities and executives. He attended exclusive private gatherings, many of which were subject to strict non-disclosure agreements. He was present when tensions flared, when deals were made, and possibly when lines were crossed. And he did it all without making a scene. Bentley's demeanor was so calm, so restrained, that he became iconic without ever speaking. The public coined him the Umbrella Man, turning him into a meme long before social media had viral power. But behind the meme was a man who saw everything and said nothing. By 2004, Bentley began transitioning into his own brand. He appeared in Outkast's The Way You Move video and Kanye West's The New Workout Plan. He signed a deal with Sean Combs' music label, attempted a brief career as a rapper and speaker, and became a symbol of gentleman swagger in Black culture. In 2007, he published a book titled Advance Your Swagger: How to Use Manners, Confidence, and Style to Get Ahead. The book sold reasonably well and helped reframe Bentley as a man of etiquette and charm, not just a shadow figure.
This is exactly who I want to see take the stand at the Diddy trial. Farnsworth Bentley was Diddy's assistant for I don't know how many years, and he's famously known for holding an umbrella when there's no rain everywhere he goes. Farnsworth Bentley made an appearance with Diddy in the Making the Band episode on the Dave Chappelle Show. He asked Farnsworth to bring him a sandwich, and he flew in on his umbrella.
Farnsworth, bring me a sandwich. They can fly, man.
But even during his personal rebranding, he stayed tethered to Diddy's orbit. He appeared in MTV reality shows like Making the Band, helping train and polish young artists under Diddy's mentorship. He even helped coach them on posture, voice, wardrobe, and manners, passing along the same behavioral standards Diddy had demanded of him. And then somewhere between 2009 and 2012, Farnsworth Bentley disappeared from the public eye. There was no scandal, no headline, no official statement, but gradually, Bentley stopped appearing at bad boy events. He wasn't seen on red carpets, in reality shows, or at Diddy's parties. He gave occasional interviews, but avoided any discussion of Diddy or the deeper workings of bad boy entertainment. The shift was subtle, but complete. He rebranded as a producer and creative director. He worked behind the scenes with artists like Kanye West, Pharrell Williams, and Andre 3000. He took a more active role in faith-based work, aligning with Christian organizations and appearing at spiritual conferences. His social media became more family-oriented and motivational, and any trace of his time as Umbrella Man was left behind.
One person I keep thinking about is this guy, Farnsworth Bentley. Do you remember him? He always had the umbrella. He was Diddy's gentleman assistant for a really long time. So, Farnsworth, tell us what happened.
To this day, Bentley has never explained why he stopped working with Diddy or what his departure signified. He has never spoken publicly about what he saw, what he experienced, or what caused the split. He has never confirmed or denied anything about Diddy's behavior during those years. In light of the recent lawsuits and investigations surrounding Diddy, with accusations of abuse, trafficking, NDAs, and private misconduct, Bentley's quiet exit feels more loaded than ever. Because Farnsworth Bentley didn't just disappear from fame, he walked away from something bigger. And now, his silence is no longer just personal. It is political, cultural, and potentially legal. As one of the few people who saw every side of Diddy, public and private, Bentley may hold answers the world is just now starting to demand. Whether he's staying quiet out of respect, fear, or legal obligation is unclear. But what is clear is this: he knew everything, and he chose to disappear.
We all expected that Diddy's former assistants were going to come in swinging during his trial. But one man, he's not just swinging, he might be bringing the entire empire down. I'm talking about none other than the mysterious, the once dapper, now dangerously silent Farnsworth Bentley.
Several people close to the bad boy camp have claimed that those in Diddy's inner circle were exposed to more than luxury. They witnessed what others only whispered about: alleged late-night rituals, private parties with NDA only guest lists, emotional manipulation, psychological control. As someone by Diddy's side 24/7, Farnsworth Bentley would have seen everything. Not just the glitz, but the real Diddy behind closed doors. He was reportedly present during international trip, private studio sessions, and elite gatherings that other artists weren't even allowed into. And when those spaces became darker, filled with controversy, control, and alleged misconduct, Bentley, according to theory, wanted out.
Ever since the Diddy drama became a public thing, it got people scratching their heads and asking what happened to Farnsworth Bentley. One day he was everywhere with that umbrella and bow tie, the next gone. And now 50 Cent is out here stirring the pot again, throwing shade at Diddy and asking the questions everyone's low-key been afraid to say out loud. So 50 Cent hopped on IG and posted an old pic of Farnsworth Bentley holding an umbrella over Diddy's head. Classic photo. You know, peak bad boy era vibes. But in the caption, 50 wrote, "Yo, anybody know what happened to this guy, LOL?" Now he deleted it pretty quick, but you already know everyone caught it. The internet ran with it. Folks started digging, speculating, and wondering why no one's seen or heard from Bentley in months. Now here's the thing. 50 didn't explicitly accuse Diddy of anything. He never said Diddy made him disappear or anything that direct. But come on, we all know how 50 moves. He doesn't have to say it outright. He's been trolling.
But here's the twist. After his time with Diddy, Farnsworth quietly transitioned into Hollywood writing, consulting, and mentoring. He worked on Kanye West's Yeezus, made minor TV appearances, and kept an extremely low profile, almost as if he wanted to erase the Umbrella Man identity altogether. Absolutely. Here's a longer, richer expansion of the theories surrounding Farnsworth Bentley's sudden disappearance, giving each one depth, context, and connection to Diddy's ongoing controversies.
And it's messy. Okay, y'all, grab your popcorn and buckle up because we are diving deep into a story that's got the internet on fire. Umbrella Man. Yep, Farnsworth Bentley. You remember him, the suave guy always by Diddy's side, holding that fancy white umbrella like a butler out of a royal drama. But let's just say that umbrella might have been hiding way more than rain. See, Farnsworth Bentley wasn't just some dapper assistant with good posture and an eye for fashion. Oh no, no, no. The rumors that have been circling around him for years are suddenly picking up serious steam.
Here are the most talked about theories, each painting a different picture of why Bentley may have walked away from Diddy and why he's never looked back. The first theory is that he saw something he couldn't be part of. This is the theory that's getting the most attention and the one Mase has hinted at most clearly. As Diddy's personal assistant and image consultant, Bentley wasn't just holding umbrellas. He was in the rooms no one else got into. Private jets, mansion parties, closed-door meetings, midnight sessions with high-profile guests who never showed up in paparazzi shots. In that role, Bentley may have been exposed to Diddy's alleged off-the-record activities, the kind now surfacing in lawsuits. Trafficking, coercion, abuse, NDAs, control. Mase recently said, "Some of us got out. Some stayed too long. Some couldn't handle what they saw." Fans believe he was referring to people like Bentley, those who had access to everything and walked away without saying why, not because they weren't loyal, but because they were afraid to become complicit. Another theory says he signed an ironclad NDA and possibly took a payout. If Bentley did witness something dangerous or damaging, he wouldn't be allowed to speak, even if he wanted to. Industry insiders have speculated that Diddy required long-term associates to sign airtight non-disclosure agreements, especially those with close, around-the-clock access. There's also talk that Bentley may have been paid off to walk away quietly, not as a bribe, but as part of a negotiated exit. After all, he never bashed Diddy, he never leaked photos, he never went to the press, he simply rebranded. To some, that's a man who knows what he's not allowed to say. And in the world of billionaires and power players, silence is expensive. One more theory suggests that he was a public distraction from Diddy's private world. This theory digs into Bentley's role itself. Why was he always with Diddy, holding an umbrella, opening doors, even in controlled environments like red carpets and photo shoots? Some believe Bentley wasn't just an assistant. He was a decoy, a carefully curated public prop. His polite Southern manners, tailored suits, and gentlemanly behavior gave Diddy a safe, classy aura. In the early 2000s, when rumors about Diddy's lifestyle and sexuality were at a peak, Bentley's presence projected stability and elegance. It's possible Bentley was used as a shield, the polished front that kept people from asking what was really going on behind closed doors. Once he outlived that usefulness, or once he started seeing the real cost of the illusion, he may have chosen to exit before he became a liability. Last but not least, he was quietly warned to leave, or else. This one is darker and eerily in line with what Mase has been alluding to. There's a long-standing belief in hip-hop circles that people close to Diddy who knew too much were pressured into silence, either through legal threats, industry blackballing, or something even more sinister. Some insiders suggest Bentley may have received a quiet warning, not from Diddy directly, but from the ecosystem around him. The message: get out now, don't look back, and don't ever talk.
You got a lot of people, man, that's wondering why Farnsworth Bentley, why he hasn't came out and defended Diddy. They was real cool at one point, so.
Well, I was there when Farnsworth Bentley got his actual name. How they came up with the name and everything. We were sitting in front of the apartment building on 74th and Park Avenue. It was me, him, Tony De Niro. Puff was upstairs. They was trying to figure out, he had became Puff one of Puff's personal assistants. You understand? To make sure all Puff shit is there when we get ready to go. Everything that's supposed to be in order. That was Farnsworth Bentley's job.
Long before lawsuits, before federal raids, before headlines about trafficking and abuse, Mase was trying to warn us. He just didn't shout, he whispered. And most people ignored it. Mase, once the crown jewel of Bad Boy Records, walked away from fame at the very peak of his career. In 1999, when his album Double Up was doing numbers and Diddy was at the top of the world, Mase suddenly announced he was leaving music to follow God. At the time, fans thought it was a dramatic spiritual shift. But looking back now, it was the first red flag. Mase saw something in that world that broke him. In interviews years later, he hinted that what was happening behind the scenes at Bad Boy was spiritually toxic. He said things like, "I had to get away before I lost my soul." It wasn't just about rap, it was about darkness. After nearly a decade of silence, Mase returned in the 2000s, but with restrictions. He was still locked in contracts, and many believe Diddy blocked his music from being released freely. This wasn't just control over business, it was control over his voice. Then came the Oracle.
Farnsworth Bentley, how was your relationship with him?
I would say, in the beginning, I thought Mr. Bentley was the coolest person in the world. I'm talking about the coolest person in the world. And then eventually, Bentley started stealing. You dig? And one time, we got our advance check. You dig? And I went and got this chain.
2017, a diss track aimed squarely at Diddy. But this wasn't clout chasing. This was a man finally unloading the truth after being muzzled for years. Mase accused Diddy of exploiting Biggie's death for fame, hoarding publishing rights, using fear to control people, pretending to be for the culture, while privately destroying artists. One of the most chilling lines, "You won't sign the real artists, you sign the clowns. Just to say you're down, I'm the real king of Harlem, and I'm gonna wear the crown." That wasn't just lyrical, it was a shot at Diddy's legacy being built on image, not integrity. In 2020, Mase went even further. He posted a now viral open letter on Instagram, calling out Diddy's hypocrisy after the mogul made a speech at the Grammys demanding Black ownership and fairness. Mase reminded fans that Diddy had bought his publishing for $20,000 when he was 19 and refused to sell it back, even when Mase offered $2 million. You've been extremely unfair to the very same artist that helped you obtain that Icon Award. This is not Black excellence. When our own people rob us of opportunity and advancement, it's not revolutionary. It's hypocritical.
The guy goes by the nickname Punisher. We know wild. They joked about the name. But then Cameron tossed out a theory that left everyone's jaws on the floor.
Man, I watched this man disrespect you every chance he got, talk to you like his bitch.
I think Farnsworth was his little girlfriend at one time, because you have to see how they was conducting themselves.
Still, most media outlets swept the letter aside. It didn't trend for long. Few celebrities supported him. But Mase kept dropping hints in interviews, podcasts, even sermons, saying, "There are people still in that circle who are suffering. I got out, they didn't." He also alluded to a culture of fear, that many people knew what was going on but wouldn't speak because they were either trapped financially or spiritually compromised. Now in 2024 and 2025, with federal agents raiding Diddy's homes and survivors filing lawsuits about abuse, trafficking, and coercion, everything Mase warned about seems to be surfacing. His years of silence look less like retreat and more like protection. He didn't just leave the industry, he escaped it. And now, as the empire he once helped build begins to collapse, Mase's voice has gone from background noise to a prophetic echo. What you build in the dark always comes to light. Farnsworth Bentley was more than Diddy's umbrella man. He was a trusted insider who saw it all. And then he vanished. No statement, no explanation, just silence. Now, as Diddy faces growing legal pressure and old secrets resurface, that silence speaks volumes. The question is, how much longer can it last?